this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill no one.
Wait a second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobuki Jake, and we're here to show you what we got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
All right. Well, we've got some fun stuff for you, and one in particular that is a huge one that I didn't expect I was going to be getting. I did not. It was a surprise. An unpleasant one because it cost me a lot of money, and I don't like being charged a lot of money unexpectedly, but I've been told things that unfortunately were the case. So I will start us off with that big thing.
Okay.
So I got a new phone.
Ooh.
The S20. Now, it comes with these headphones in here. I've got all the rest of the stuff out of it. Unlike the Apple phone, it actually comes with a charger. It comes with these weird little things for, I guess, it has multiple little headphone things on here, so you can put it for the earbuds it comes with. So you can plug in your earbuds. It's got a charger that it comes with, like I say, which is more than Apple, because Apple won't give you the brick that they have. It's the new Galaxy. They are discontinuing the Note, which sucks. And mine, which was the Note 8, they were getting rid of support as of January.
Even in the future, nothing works.
So my phone would have been malfunctioning badly in 2 months. So they happened to run a sale, which was good. I managed to get $800 off of it.
Good.
Because the list price is more than the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox combined. And as you can see, it's invisible. This is the case I got for it. It's a nice little case there. And this is the actual phone itself. You can see I got the silver on it. It's got Carpy's face on it there. But it's got this camera. As you can see, it's got a much higher grade camera. It now can take 4K video. There it's got a liquid glass protection on it. So technically I could drop it on its face and it would be fine. I'm not taking a chance on that though.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, just, but as it is, it's kind of cool. I mean, I've got myself a newer phone. It's something I'm getting used to. Works pretty good, pretty smooth. I'm not a big phone person, but I was also needed one that was going to work. And when they were going to discontinue service, I was not very happy with that. But hey, it's now 5G. So if you go with what some people believe, it now spreads the coronavirus. So, but that's mine. That's my big one.
Yeah,
It's a big piece of technology. See,
that is cool.
All right.
Yeah, I need a new phone myself, but we were kind of talking about all the BS of those Sony PS5 movies, and the whole system when it comes to phones is
it's predatory.
It's heavily predatory. But anyway, my first one is going to be something that is. I've got a strong theme this week. And this breaks the theme. This was an Amazon pickup, but I'm going to go ahead and present it in reference to this week's Delusions of Grandeur discussion, in which we will be talking a few weeks later than originally planned. We will be talking about the Indonesian film by Gareth Evans, The Raid Redemption. And to prepare for it the second time around, I went ahead and got the Raid Collection.
It was cheap.
Which features the Raid Redemption, which sounds like it would be a sequel, but it's not.
Confusing.
And then you have the Raid 2, which is the sequel. And so basically, and I have watched both films at this point, I still need to watch the cut, and I may try to do it tonight. I'd like to watch the cut of Raid Redemption scored by Linkin Park's Mike Shinoda. I actually watched the cut that with the original version.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a pretty awesome score too, but I'm curious to hear the Linkin Park score. Not, that's not really what it is, but it's but, so basically, you'll hear a lot more about the first film and a little bit about the second one if you tune in to our discussion for this week. But basically, they are a pair of action films. The first one is specifically a raid on a drug lord's stronghouse, basically. That's the plot. The second one is a lot more convoluted. The hero of the first one gets put deep undercover. Think The Departed, or the film that it was based on, Infernal Affairs. It's kind of in that vein.
Yeah.
They are brutal action films, brutal action. And they feature a martial art I had never even heard of before called Silat. Definitely worth a checking out, especially if you enjoy action films, especially if you enjoy bloody, brutal action films. You will definitely enjoy these. And this was a nice pickup. I got it off of Amazon for like $14-15, which is not bad for both films. Yeah.
That's what I got mine for, which was why I was like, I wanted to go ahead. I was like, okay, I'll get this now. Because I got it when I saw it pulling ahead in the polls.
Great. Not bad special features, too. I have not done the special features for the second, but I did a lot of them last night for the first one. There's some really good stuff there. You learn a lot just from those bits. So,
yeah, when I saw it pulling way ahead, because it got some major votes. You have some love for that film out there. So I was confused by Raid Redemption. Okay, so that must be another one. So where's the original one? It's like, that is the original one.
The original Indonesian title, the first film has no subtitle in the original title. It's the sequel that has the subtitle in
So for this one, I am forgetting which part was first. I think it was part 1 I got. So here's some anime.
All right. Some anime.
So I have been holding on this technically for a full season release, but but Right Stuff and Amazon put these on sale. So Amazon had part 1 of the season for sale, and I was like, okay, but part 2 is like $60. I was like, no. So then Right Stuff only put part 2 for sale, and I'm like, and then Amazon was still like had part 1 on that sale, so I was like, okay. So for about $40, I managed to get Attack on Titan season 3.
Nice.
So there's only one more season left to get on Attack on Titan, and I will have collected the whole thing.
All right.
Which is kind of cool to have. I need to watch season 2. It is very well scored. It's got a lot of cool action on it. And, it's kind of cool to have it. So in a way, it's kind of fine. I don't think I think the second season was short anyway, so I don't believe they released that one in 2 parts. So in a way, I'm getting it as it's originally released, so that's kind of cool. I'm curious about how it's going to be. For those who haven't heard about it, it's about this future land and people kind of hiding behind walls because these giant titans come out and they start eating people.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are all on this force that kind of swings around like Spider-Man. And the only way to kill the titans is you got to cut out like a piece in the back of their neck. So they have to swing up, attack the titans, and hit them in the back of the head. See, there's the titans right there. And it's kind of a very brutal series. But I'm kind of glad to finally have these, so I can say I've got season 3 now.
All right. So, my next one starts my theme, which will finish through the rest of it. And there's another sub-theme that, there's a couple, it's like progressive sub-themes. Like, I'm going to start with one theme, and then there'll be another, and it'll be kind of fun. But anyway, it is, of course, that time of year.
Isn't it?
And I did some Best Buy stuff, and I'm still waiting for a package that will include some presents, but also includes one additional item. Everything else from the order is here in this stack. So the other one will be presented sometime down the road. But I actually had a different 2 items set up for 2 of the slots. But then 2 of them arrived today, and I was like, okay, well, let's sub those in. And there's going to be a little brief little mini rant about this afterwards. But the first of the 2 is a film that I saw recently. It was a 2019 release, and I managed to finally see it 2 or 3 months back, and I may have talked about it on the channel. I honestly can't remember at this point. One of the great actors of our time is Edward Norton. He is a very, very gifted individual. He is kind of got a reputation. He knows he's a great actor, and apparently he likes to throw his weight around on set a little bit. So we talked a little bit on our our new releases for this week about the reputation Eddie Murphy has picked up, and Norton's got a little bit of that going too. But he nonetheless does have good relationships with a lot of people in Hollywood. And he has managed to direct 2 films. The first one came out 20 years ago. It's called Keeping the Faith, and it's really good. It feels like Woody Allen light, basically. It's a romantic comedy. And this one is a dark crime drama called Motherless Brooklyn. That stars Norton, but also look at the rest of the cast. You got Bruce Willis, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Alec Baldwin, Willem Dafoe, Cherry Jones, Bobby Cannavale, and there's some other folks in there as well. Basically, Norton is a private detective. He's essentially an assistant private detective. Bobby Cannavale, Ethan Suplee, and I can't remember the other actor offhand, work in a crime detective office. Led by Bruce Willis's character, and Willis is murdered, and they all scramble about. Norton is trying to piece the puzzle together of what was the reason why, basically, like what was the case he was working on. He finds himself looking deeper and deeper into corruption. Alec Baldwin plays a highly placed city official who seems to be at the heart of the corruption. Mbatha-Raw is the woman who becomes very close to Norton as the story goes on. It's completely different from Keeping the Faith, and I kind of am thinking it'd be fun to do the 2 as a 2 for one day on Movies Galore. But it was a really good movie. I loved it, and I saw it on sale really cheap. I was like, okay.
Well, my next one was a cart topper. There are a couple of them because these are from different orders at different times.
Mhm.
But this was a cart topper for Right Stuff,
Mhm.
trying to get that free shipping.
Yeah.
And this is Angel Blade.
You know you got the picture on me still.
Angel Blade. And probably should have left a picture on you. So this one is 18 plus, and it is kind of infamous in certain circles, so I wanted to check it out. It's sort of like Kiko Kamen. It's just one that I need to see to believe.
It looks that way.
It's it's sort of like me collecting trashy B-movie horror. So this is kind of trashy B-movie anime.
Yeah.
In that sense.
Good times. Good times. Hey, you said it was a cart topper. I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, it wasn't very expensive. It was like $10 or less than $10. So yeah, it was very cheap. I would not have gotten that for a lot.
Yeah. So my next one was $10, and now you got it on you.
Oh shoot. There.
Technical difficulties. Now, my next one was $10, and I had to jump on it because I was like, $10, all right. So on our new releases this week, we also talked about HBO series and how they're usually kind of awesome, and how when you can get a good price, you should go for it. And $10 for an entire season of on Blu-ray of an HBO series, the 10-episode series, is usually, it's $1 an episode. That's not bad for an HBO series. And this is one that I was intensely curious about anyway, because I read the book and I enjoyed it. And this is a series based on a recent Stephen King novel, The Outsider.
Oh, yeah. I was tempted by it.
You got, this is a show that stars Ben Mendelsohn. So that right there, a Stephen King series by HBO starring Ben Mendelsohn. That right there. But you've also got Mare Winningham, Patty Considine, Juliana Nicholson, Cynthia Erivo, and a bunch of other folks involved in the cast. It was a good book. It had a few graphic moments that I didn't entirely enjoy. I am dreading seeing how that will be portrayed on film. It did also get into the legend of El Cuco, which I thought was kind of interesting. And there is a little documentary featurette involving El Cuco, apparently. There are a few special features here. But again, I did want to see this. I didn't bother streaming it, but I saw that for 10. I was like, okay, I don't know when I'll get to watch this, but it'll be good to have it on the shelf.
Yeah. Very good. I almost got that. I have a Best Buy order that's coming that was rather large from their sale, but I don't know when it's going to get here.
They have been pretty good at shipping quickly for me, at least.
Well, they shipped. It's just a matter of getting from A to B.
Oh, okay. And this was the addendum for that. I'm sorry. I had to. These were the two that arrived today.
And the big box.
Yeah. So this box. Okay, so we've got this big box here. And you see how these fit inside that big box? There was no packing material at all. They used this big box for these two items. I don't know.
So I got a priority on mine.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's we were talking about priorities, and then we were talking about things you would get right away if you could, that you want to get it in your collection as soon as possible.
Right.
And sometimes it's a priority because you really, really want it, and sometimes it's because you want it and you know it's not going to be there forever. And that is the Amityville Toy Box. I presented the sequel, the Amityville Clown House, which is funny because Clown House came out first.
Right.
And which is, like I say, it's kind of weird. It's like the sequel comes out before the first film, but
Right.
it's about a cursed toy. It looks like it's in the same vein of those other ones that I like. It's about time and Amityville Dollhouse. So I do want to see these. There's only one more of these newer Amityville releases coming out, which is Amityville Witches, which is coming out next week. So I am looking forward to grabbing that and then being all up to date with Amityville again, except for Amityville Curse, which is a cursed film that's never made it to our shores on Blu-ray or DVD.
Yep, it'll be the last one until like 3 months from now or whatever.
I've got a shark movie that's got Amityville on it. I mean, really.
Nice. So, is it my go?
Yep.
All right. Now I start my second mini theme, which is DC Comics.
Dun, dun.
And I have a 2020 release that I believe we recently covered. This was also a Best Buy pretty good price. I think it was like $6, about the same price as Motherless Brooklyn, if I remember correctly. And that is the new animated movie Deathstroke: Knights and Dragons, where you got Michael Chiklis playing Deathstroke. And as we've discussed on this channel, I believe DC's animated stuff tends to be pretty high quality. And I'm very curious about this. I think it could be a lot of fun. The price was good. Yeah, I will be happy to have it on the shelf. I may get to this sooner than later because I do have a brother who's obsessed with DC. He'll probably come by, see it, and go, "Can we watch that?" So it may happen.
I really like Deathstroke as a character, and of course he is one of the characters that was the basis for Deadpool.
Yes.
So just as fun there. So actually I ordered that myself. It's one of the ones on the way.
Very good.
There are some, which I'm sure you're going to get into some WB ones soon enough, which I am glad you're still able to afford to collect those. But speaking of something that I probably have no business in collecting, I went ahead and I got this relatively cheaply. And that is American Pie Girls Rules. They did,
Okay.
and this also was a Best Buy buy because it was cheap.
Right.
They had it marked down to 10. And I've got all the other ones. I have every single other one of these films. They are guilty pleasures.
Not necessarily. Most of the actual American Pie.
No, I'm talking the spin-offs.
There you go.
Though some of them go, like 2 people will say is more of the same, but 1 and 2 were really good. Right. And I mean, 1 was a good film, so 2 being more of the same was not a big problem for me. Wedding wasn't bad, and Reunion was amazing. Am I missing one?
I
mean, the main ones.
There's American Pie 2, American Wedding, and American Reunion. Those were the main ones, yeah.
But then the other ones were like Alpha House and the Book of Love.
Spice Girls. I love classic rock.
So, and I've got them in a nice little tight collection as well. And I just felt like, I'll grab this and keep the collection up to date.
Okay. All right. So another one of those ones that I'm pretty sure he pre-ordered, and so he was able to get something that just was not available for anyone who did not pre-order it. And it was partly because of holding out the vague hope of getting that edition, the Steelbook edition. I held off on this. But I finally pulled the trigger. They had a pretty good sale price. I think this might have also been a $6. It might have been $7 or $8. I can't remember. But it was low enough for me to finally pull the trigger, and I needed to get this. And that is a recent, highly acclaimed, Oscar-winning film, Joker.
Ah, yes.
And this is still a pretty nice-looking edition. It's not as fancy, but it's not bad. got a couple of bonus features on there. It does have a nice slipcover, so there are people that would be thrilled about that.
I regret nothing. I regret nothing.
But yes, I did finally get this. It was a great film. It was a very, 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 very divisive film. There were people who thought it was the best thing ever, and people just could not get behind it. It is I call The Raid brutal films, but this is kind of a brutal film.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's a rough watch, but it's worth watching. And Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro, you got no complaints there. So glad I finally have it, though.
and Jokers.
That fits in with the whole top 20, top 40 pickup idea, too, which is nice.
Well, my stuff is definitely not in the top 20 by any means.
Is it in your top 20? That's what matters.
I don't know about that either. But this one is one that surprised me. I went over to Dollar Tree and just decided I would check it out on a whim. And they did have some sitting back there. And there were a couple I was like, ooh. And the one Blu-ray I found was like, this is cool. I didn't even hear about this. And this is a documentary by the people who did Food Incorporated, which is also another great documentary you should see, called A Place at the Table.
I think I've heard of that. Huh.
That's $1.
Nice.
So, 50 million Americans, 1 in 4 don't know where their next meal is coming from. Place at the Table tells powerful stories of 3 such Americans who maintain their dignity even as they struggle just to eat. So you got deleted scenes. So it's kind of cool. It shows like this group of family just fighting to survive, which is pretty cool. But again, I do want to see this. This one will rank more than a meh on my level, but definitely $1. I had to jump on it. It was only copy. Sorry.
All right, so my next one is going to start a new theme, and you'll probably guess right away what that theme is. But it's also one where I might be dropping a bit from the top 40s as well. I don't know. I have not seen an episode of this show yet, and I would not be at all surprised if the low rating on IMDb is mostly because of all the asshole haters for this particular series, which were so bad they actually had to replace the star of the series going forward because there was so much hate dropped on this show. I don't know why. It's kind of stupid. But anyway, I do have some Arrowverse selections. You knew this was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
This guy has done a really good job. The last 4 or 5 years at least, I think. They've done a really good job of making sure the current Arrowverse releases get $10 Blu-ray releases. They're not pretty good about doing the older series every now and then. But the new ones, yeah, you can do that. And so it's a good way to collect the series. It's a lot better than paying the regular prices. This is the newest of the bunch, and it's one that, like I said, I reserve judgment until I see it. And that is season 1 of Batwoman. With Ruby Rose in the main lead. She, unfortunately, was fired after the season. Or quit. I'm a little unclear about the particulars there. I really don't know that I'm going to... I feel like she would be a great Kate Kane. So I'm really curious how it actually plays out. Batwoman is not my favorite series, but it has its moments, and I appreciate it as its place in Batman lore. I'm very curious to see how it fits into the Arrowverse. I hope it's better than its reputation. I hope that is just a bunch of haters being assholes. But we'll find out.
All right. Well, So, I've got one from the Kino sale.
Nice.
And it was one I felt like I wanted, and I actually told y'all. I think it was a yes please on one of our covers not too long ago.
Okay. Lord
And
love it.
This is the 1916 film 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yes.
I had to get a hold of this.
I'm
It's just
myself for not ordering that.
some of these films are just they're must-haves. And this is history right here. I love collecting some of these really old films.
Yeah.
I mean, this is only 1 year after Birth of a Nation. And probably a much better film.
That was off that really big sale they just did, right?
Yeah, it was decent price too.
Yeah, good stuff on that. Yeah. All right. So, Manga? Okay. Next up, I'm a little perturbed about this because they sent me one where the box has a crease in it. But another show in the Arrowverse, which I wasn't sure what I would make of it until I got into it. And now I have gotten into it. I am enjoying this show. And I'm very disappointed that the first 2 seasons are so short. I think it may be the case that all the seasons are short because I think because it's such a effects-heavy show, that they may just not have the budget to do a full season, I guess. But that is the show DC's Legends of Tomorrow, which brings together a bunch of random folks, mostly from other series, but some, as the show goes on, you get more and more new characters as well. Nate Haywood and the original Vixen, if you will, not the original, but the one who's the grandmother of the one that showed up in Arrow, are 2 of the regulars that were introduced in this series. But of course, from Flash, you've got Nick Rory, also known as Heatwave. From Arrow itself, you've got Sarah Lance, one of the Black Canaries. And then, of course, you've got Constantine, who joined the cast, I think, in the 4th season, maybe. And then Ray Palmer, who also was introduced in Arrow, the Atom, etc., etc. This is a really fun show. It's a little cheesy. It's a little kitschy. It's basically a time travel adventure series. That's pretty much what it is. The season I just finished featured the, quote, Legion of Doom, which was Malcolm Merlyn, Damien Dark, and Eobon Thawne, and they were joined at the end by Leonard Snart. And that was just a really fun story. It was good times seeing those 3 work together. This is a show I think you ought to get into, if nothing else. Give it a try before you decide if you want to get rid of it or not. But it's fun. Season 5, caught up now.
Yeah, and I have the first 3. I just need to get to watching them
before you get rid of it.
That's my plan. Is I'm going to go through, because I used to collect all the Arrowverse as they were coming out on Black Friday, but when the bill started getting to be $70 a year each time, I was like, God, it's too many of these darn things.
You probably got into a couple of the series I haven't gotten into yet. I'm not even sure I'm going to hit all of them.
Well, so what I'm doing right now is I'm finishing Arrow. My plan is to finish Arrow up. And then after that, I'm probably going to try and get into Black Lightning because they're ending that after season 4. And then probably Batwoman, because I've heard they're not doing that one for much longer too. So then I plan on maybe getting into the Flash, like I say, doing them one at a time. And as I catch up, I might then say, okay, I'll move to the next one, but only as I watch them.
I'm basically right now, we're going through Flash, Supergirl, and Arrow as simultaneously as possible. And we're trying to do that with Legends, but because it's a shorter series and it doesn't have as many tie-ins to the others, strangely enough, it's not as important to be on point
Yeah.
about that one, but it does still. There are crossovers that you have to be careful if you don't want to lose everything. You got to be, I admit it's involved, and I understand people that don't want to do that, but
and it is it's like the comics. It really is. They did a great job of mimicking the comics. But much like any comic book series, I couldn't collect every series that could do a crossover, and that just is just difficult. So one at a time, and I do like with any of those comic things, I either skip over the episode or I just move through it, and I say, well, I'll mark it to come back when I have the other components. And I listen to it briefly, but I kind of tune out to make sure that it works, and then I like, if I ever get the rest of the components, I'll move on. Plus, the season 8 of Arrow will have the full of the Infinite Earth, I think, series, little mini thing, didn't it, or something like that?
Actually, you may have noticed all of these have the limited edition bonus disc with all 5. So the Crisis on Infinite Earths, I believe, is the crossover.
Yeah.
All of these have a disc that contains that full
All
story.
of them.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean,
That is good.
So mine is going to be another cheapo from the Right Stuff sale. And it's one, I used to have one of these and got rid of it, so now it's back. Which, this is the Midnight Movies Collection. So, it's 4 60s Japanese films. And on here you've got the Lemon Grove Kids Meet the Monsters trilogy, which I did have, and it was kind of bad. I got it really cheap from Movie Stop, and left it really cheap. But the ones there were 2 that I got this for because they were fun. The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies. Also touted as the world's first monster musical.
Ooh.
Then, of course, The Adventures of Ratfink and Boo Boo. And then, of course, the last one, The Thrill Killers. So some fun ones in there. I am very interested in them, and it's just kind of a fun little collection to have.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was very cheap.
Yeah. So wasn't that Mixed Up Zombies one on the IMDb bottom 100 at some point?
Yeah, I think so. But just the title alone is worth it.
I love it. Yes. Oh, okay. So this one unfortunately does not have the such a grand and wondrous title to it, but the other 5th season Arrowverse one that I picked up this time is Supergirl, which of course features Melissa Benoist as Supergirl. I have been a huge fan of Benoist ever since I saw her on Glee. She was also excellent in Whiplash. She is a very talented actress, a pretty good singing voice. And this overall has a nice supporting cast as well. And as the series goes on, you get some pretty interesting, character-wise, you've got John Jones, a.k.a. Martian Manhunter, as one of the chief supporting characters. You've got Lena Luthor, Lex's younger sister. You've got James Olsen, and the Wynn, who's the son of the villain who calls himself Toymaker. You got a bunch of interesting main cast and then a lot of interesting supporting cast. We just met Mon-El's parents in the season I'm watching, and they're played by Terry Hatcher and Kevin Sorbo. So that was kind of a fun little cameo. It's a fun show. It's a little more up-tempo than a couple of other Arrowverse shows. Supergirl herself is a little judgmental because, they're all Boy Scouts on Krypton. But otherwise, it's a pretty fun show, and I enjoy it.
I liked what I saw of Supergirl. I saw it back when it was still on ABC, I think it was ABC. But before it joined the Arrowverse officially.
Season 2, I believe, was when they ported it over.
So it was kind of fun. That was back when I was keeping up with all of them. Flash is also pretty upbeat overall. It has gotten dark, but not like Arrow dark.
It's been dark in the part I've been watching. Ever since Flashpoint, it's been pretty dark.
I can't remember where I stopped watching Flash, but I caught up to what I have.
Yeah.
It's not that many seasons behind what's out, so
Right.
Because I've already been through the Zoom thing and all this stuff. So
yeah.
So the last two of mine are from the Criterion sale.
Ooh.
One of them was a very expensive one, but I just love the way this limited edition looks. And that is The Fantastic Journeys of Karl Zaman. Just look at that. That is so cool. I mean, these are like little cardboard cutouts.
Yeah.
And it's a pop-up book, apparently, when you unfold it. So that is really cool. And so you get 3 of his, which you got Journey to the Beginning of Time, Invention for Destruction, and The Fabulous Baron Munchausen. So they were in the 2 of them in the 50s and 162. So they just look really fun. A lot of cool special features. This just looked amazing, and I love Baron Munchausen. I've seen several Baron Munchausen films, so I am willing to check this out.
That's a cool looking set. Yeah,
it is a cool looking set.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of The Flash, complete 6th season. And then, so here you've got, again, Grant Gustin as Barry Allen, a.k.a. Flash, his Ain True Love, Iris West, Cisco and Caitlin, a.k.a. Killer Frost. That's who you got there on the cover. You got a lot of other good folks in there, too. Joe, Iris's father, and Barry's adoptive father, various versions of Harrison Wells as the seasons go on, and a very colorful cast of supporting characters. Leonard Stark, Captain Cold was still one of my favorites from the bunch, but there have been a lot of good ones. You mentioned Zoom. That was a big one there. This is, like I said, the show started off really upbeat and got dark, but I'm hoping it picks back up again after a certain point, and it still has its moments. They are the duet episode with the crossover with Supergirl. There was a musical where you got to hear Malcolm Merlin sing "Put a Little Love in Your Heart." That was so wrong on so many levels.
Oh, that was when I sent him into that kind of weird dream dimension thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that was good. And so I've enjoyed this series for the most part. Even though it does get dark, it's still an enjoyable series. Barry's also pretty hard-headed, and that can be annoying sometimes. But otherwise, and caught up on this one, I think. I'm pretty sure with each of these I'm not missing anything now, so that's good.
I think I've at least seen through season 4. I'll have to check. Maybe while you're presenting, I'll look.
I'm on season 3. I'm working on season 4, I think. 5 for Arrow, 3 for Flash, and 2 for Supergirl. And I finished season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow, so that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I've seen through season 7 of Supergirl. I've seen season 1 of 7 of Arrow. I've seen season 1 of Supergirl. I've seen through 4 or 5. I've seen basically what I have. Flash.
Right.
Which, hold on. It's right there. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 4. Yeah, I've seen the first 4 seasons of The Flash, and I've seen season 1 of Constantine, and I saw Vixen.
I did not get to see Constantine. I still need to track that down. And I did see Vixen. It was good.
So it's interesting.
Constantine appeared on Arrow, so I've seen the character, and I like the way they did him.
Oh, you got to get Constantine. It's only one season.
Yeah.
So with that, I've got one left.
Okay.
And that is an Eclipse series 37, when horror came to Shochiku, I think is it?
Oh, nice.
Japanese kind of horror there.
Mm-hmm.
And on that, you've got The X from Outer Space, Goke Body Snatcher from Hell. Oh, wait, you would prefer the Japanese name. So the first one would be Uchu Daikaiju Giara, which I'm probably butchering, but I'm getting close. You got the Kayuketsuki Gokamidoro.
Kyuketsuki? Vampire? Is that a vampire movie?
Let's see here. It's a soul-stealing monster, so it could be.
Yeah.
Then we've got the living skeleton, Kyuketsu Dokuro Sen.
Mm-hmm.
Then genocide, Konshu Daisenso. Yeah, Daisen. Yeah. Which about ferocious bugs.
Nice.
So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a fun one. I have not opened a single one of these, and I have a whole bunch.
You got it.
I have a whole bunch of Eclipse series ones, and I just haven't taken the time to just open them. But this looks like, I mean, sometimes I find them, they're fairly cheap, and they've got a whole bunch of cool movies on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for me.
All right. And my last one this week, any guesses? I have the 8th and final season of Green Batman. So you got Arrow, the show that started it all, with their final season. I think they ended it pretty much with the Crisis on Infinite Earths, right?
Yeah.
This is again, a good, solid show. It gets dark. Like, even as dark as
it starts dark.
It starts dark.
Yeah.
Like I said, they tried to take Green Arrow is not a dark and gritty character. He has elements that could be turned that way, and they decided to go that route. They decided to make Green Batman.
Yeah, they wanted Batman.
They did do a good job. It's a good series. This rendition of Oliver Queen is a pretty solid character. He got a really great supporting cast: John Diggle, Felicity Smoke. You've got, his little sister Tia. And again, Malcolm Merlin is a recurring baddie. Damien Dark was a phenomenal baddie. Ra's al Ghul was a phenomenal. Those two villains were both pretty kick-ass villains. It's a good show. It's a solid show. It's been the backbone of the Arrowverse all along. I don't know how much longer the series will go, honestly, without this one. But based on what I've heard, I feel like they probably did play out the story to its conclusion. I don't think this is one that could have gone indefinitely. So I can officially say I have completed one of these shows. That's nice. I just need to finish watching the show. But yeah.
Well, we had some fun ones here today.
Yep.
I already took my picture with Attack on Titan and the phone. The phone is probably worth more than all of this combined.
Yeah, it certainly cost more. Don't know about value, because we'll probably have all this other stuff years after that phone is long gone.
And I'll probably still haven't watched all of it. So I'm sure I'll have watched at least one of these by then.
Right. I think there's a good chance that we will. Well, okay, I have watched this, so some of this has been watched already.
I've watched my copy of that. I haven't
Okay.
presented it yet, but because it's an R and I didn't get it as a part of the original
And if you
holiday
haven't
sales.
already, check out this week's discussion.
Yes, it'll be fun. So, with that being said, I hope you've all enjoyed that. So, of course, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and of course, share, because sharing is caring.
Indeed.
Let us know in the comments below, what were the things you picked up this week? Was there anything fun? Did you look at any of these and go, oh, I've got to have it? When you saw this, did you go, oh my God, it's out. I have to get it.
You know, like he is thinking about the new Cats and Dogs movie. You know,
I want it, but I'm not going to buy it for that price. I mean, the lowest I've seen it for is 15, and the highest I've seen it is 30. And I'm not willing. That's not even. None of that is in my price range for that movie. That's like me getting Baby Geniuses for anything more than like $5.
Hey, in fairness, you raved about the second Cats and Dogs movie. You said it was one of the best films of the year.
No, first Cats and Dogs movie.
No, the second one is.
Oh, well, that was probably a joke because it's a terrible movie. But I actually do have a special place in my heart for the first one, though. I do still love the first one. Me and my mother went to that film twice in theaters, and we both really loved it. We just laughed.